Welcome to Next Chapter Conversations with your host, Drew Cause. Every life has defining moments. Moments that challenge us, change us, and ultimately shape who we become. On this show, you'll hear honest conversations with people who've embraced change, overcome obstacles, and stepped boldly into their next chapter. Whether you're looking for hope, fresh perspective, or the courage to begin again, you're in the right place. This is Next Chapter Conversations.
We've become masters at beating ourselves up so much that we forget that we should celebrate a lot of our progress and that we're really trying. So I was talking to one of my boys and he mentioned, knowing what to do, sometimes being hard to find the motivation to do it, and the consistency to stick with it. That's usually a hard one because consistency is a hard thing. So, I usually start off with asking, where are you already consistent in your life? And people usually don't answer that really quick because they're usually beating themselves up. So I said, let's talk about where you're consistent at. And he told me, and I said, well, you don't have a consistency problem. You probably are going after this health goal for your next chapter of living. You might be going about it the wrong way. I said, what do you mean? I said, you might be thinking that you need to conquer this goal in 3 months. That seems cool, right? Like 3 months, I should be at the specific place. Hold on, let me get some scissors because I'm putting together the strawberries and the bananas for the smoothie so that when I'm ready to put protein inside of it, I can just take the bag out of the freezer. Let's see how this goes. So we're talking, I said, how about if we lowered the bar for the next milestone and not change the goal? So what do you mean? So the goal is to lose 20 pounds. Let's keep that the goal, but let's make the next milestone losing 2 pounds. And he said, if I do that, how will I ever get to the goal? I said, well, you're gonna get to the goal simply by having a couple of milestones instead of one big one. Baggie number one. Instead of having this one big goal, let's just have a couple small ones. And he said, what would that do? I said, first, it'll just lower the pressure or just lessen the pressure that you're putting on yourself that you need to master this goal in a couple weeks, couple months. My mentor told me this about bananas. I don't know if it's true, but he said that a lot of nutrients is in the peel, and if it's frozen and thrown into a smoothie, then it's worth keeping. So we're gonna try it. If I die, blame him. You could, so don't blame him. So I said, let's carve it out. So 20 pounds, let's say that's gonna take you. Most people would say, I can do that in 2 months. You can, but most people can't. So let's just pick 3 to 4 months. 20 pounds, let's just break it up by month. Let's say we do 5 pounds a month. Now, the goal gives you some breathing room. You can probably still go out with your spouse. You can probably still indulge in some treats and things like that. It's not too crazy. The part that's gonna help you with is realizing that if I'm doing this for the next chapter of my life, I need to make this a habit. If I don't make this a habit, I'm going to end up at the same place. And I can tell you one thing. If you don't get good habits as you get older, it's pretty much downhill from there. You're not going to be able to do marvelous works and marvelous things or feel better. So we got a goal now, it's 20 pounds, 5 pounds is goal. And I said, hey, let's actually set some rewards up with the goals. 5 pounds each month. What will be a reward that you can have for each 5 pounds? And this one I'll leave to your imagination, what you can come up with. And I asked him after that, Would it feel better having these goals that you meet and these rewards? And they were like, yeah, it would actually seem easier. That's what we want to be thinking about when we're creating new systems, new habits when we get 40 plus, 50 plus and more, because we've been taught that if it's not hardcore, then it's not worth it. Like, you can't David Goggins every part of your life. I love David Goggins, I do. You cannot David Goggins every part. We want habits that are gonna stick, and you need systems and regimen. So that's a simple way a simple system that we made for this person. Break the goal down to small chunks. Every 5 pounds you lose, that's a reward. You get some reward, you pick the reward. I don't care what it is. I don't even care if it's eating a triple cheeseburger. I actually want a cheeseburger right now. Like, I want one from McDonald's. And this is for Monday. Monday we start our new phase. Like, I don't have the weekend off, but we'll see. That's a simple way to do it. Break the goal down. Celebrate when you make those small goals. And lastly, this is one that probably gets overlooked. Have some accountability on the journey. Find someone you can be accountable with. This is really major, actually. Why do I say that? If no one's celebrating you on the goal, it's really hard to stay motivated to do the work. Because what gets repeated, what gets rewarded, gets repeated. It's true. You reward something, it's gonna get repeated. It's kind of like parents used to say back in the day, we don't reward bad behavior. We reward good behavior. And I go a little further to say, if you want the child to keep behaving good, point out when they're doing good and reward that and watch what happens. So that's a simple way to do it when it comes to getting stronger, losing weight, getting back healthy, or any other goal. Go about it in a small way first. Go about it in a small way. You don't have to say, hey, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. You're gonna lose it and you're gonna probably gain it right back because you haven't gotten the habit. And that's really the secret. This thing has got to become a habit. What am I doing right now so that it becomes a habit? Every morning, I wanna have a shake. So, in the morning, I literally will just pull out the bag from the freezer. I'll throw the protein powder inside, and I'll have a shake. And this stops me from wanting to grab something that's not going to be beneficial for where I'm going. It's simple, takes a couple minutes to cut up, and because I was habit stacking, I said, hey, let me just do a video real quick as I'm doing this. Adios, amigos.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Next Chapter Conversations. If today's conversations inspired you, encouraged you, or helped you see your own story differently, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who's ready for their next chapter. Until next time, remember, your story isn't over. The best chapters are still waiting to be written. We'll see you in the next conversation. Meow.